Well, hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of Lean Six Sigma for Hospitals and QI Macros. I got hired out of college by Mountain Bell back in 1973, and I worked for them for many, many years. I spent 3 years on a rotation out to Bell Labs in New Jersey, learned a lot of stuff about Unix, and came back. And in my real college career, I was studying systems engineering, operations research, which is the mathematical optimization of systems. And you know, if you think about how do they schedule all these airplanes that fly around every day? Operations research, train schedules, construction of big projects. I mean, a lot of this is systems engineering and operations research. But in the phone company, we didn't have anything near that complex except for the construction program that ran in 14 states. I once maintained the software for that. But in 1989, the VP of computer operations said, you know, this TQM, quality improvement stuff, that sounds interesting. So he decided to boot up an improvement program. And I got invited to come in and get involved with total quality management. I got trained by Florida Power and Light, and which their thing became known as Qualtech at one time. And we had great training. You know, it was a week-long training for team leaders and teams. And, you know, it was terrific training. And we found it very difficult to deploy once we got back to the office. Because Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, which was the case study, did not necessarily tie into how we think about telephony. And so it took me a while to figure that out. So over the course of time, I kept trying things and other things, and you know, the VP of IT said, well, we want to improve customer perceptions of IT. Well, I hate to tell you this, you can't improve customer perceptions of IT. You could reduce defects, mistakes, and errors. You could improve on-time delivery. You could make sure that what you deliver is what they asked for, but that's not what we were studying, and that was an epic fail. So I learned a lot by failure, and then I think it was about 1990, late 1990 or early 91, we had this problem. The building we were in was had a couple of false fire alarms. And it turned out that they were demonstrating this new cellular technology, and every time they punched in a number and hit send, the fire alarms went off. I wonder if there's something going on here. So I got together with the building manager, and together we put together the data and determined that yes, indeed, the radio frequency interference could actually trigger the fire detection equipment, which wasn't properly shielded. And we were like the second company in the nation to figure out that cell phones cause false fire alarms. And still in a lot of places, false fire alarms are true because we had 1,100 detectors and it was several $100s to replace each one, and we were only renting the building, so we weren't going to stay there that long. So we chose not to change that. But there's still a lot of buildings out there that are getting false fire alarms all the time, and they don't actually chase that down. So that's a little scary. But anyway, that was my starting point for quality improvement. And once I figured it out, then I helped the VP of Finance save $20 million in postage, $16 million in adjustments. And when they shut down the quality department because most everybody wasn't producing any results, she called me up the moment I got back to my office and said, hey, do you want to come work for me? I said, I don't know, let me think on it. But then I decided, no, I'm going to go out and try and do this on my own. So I left in December of 1995 and went out and did some consulting work, and then I needed some tools to help me with that. And I developed QI Macros, kind of the starter tools of that, a Pareto chart, you know, which is what I used most of the time, still do. And so got into that, and then customers would say, hey, that's cool, where can I get that? And I went, maybe I shouldn't be a consultant, maybe I should be a computer programmer and build a product. All right, so that came out, and then in 1997, I started to bring that out. And then in 1999, To Err Is Human, the Institute of Medicine published To Err Is Human, which said, you know, we kill about 100,000 people a year in hospitals unnecessarily. And the Joint Commission said, well, if you want to be an accredited Joint Commission hospital, thou shalt draw thy core measures as control charts. Core measures are things like, did you get aspirin arrival and some other things. Anyway, but that started a lifelong love affair with healthcare, because there was some email listserv. There was, Google was in its infancy, and so out there was some listserv, and nurses would write in and say, how do I draw a control chart? And 5 nurses would respond back by QI macros. And so that was the beginning of my love affair with healthcare. And it continues to this day to help healthcare find ways to simplify, optimize, improve, and start driving towards zero harm. And we're not anywhere close to zero harm, but that's the goal, all right? And so that's what I've been doing all these years. And I've also been involved with the American Society for Quality, lots of different organizations and focused on quality improvement. And so that's a little bit about me. That's how I got here. You know, and when I started, I had brown hair, and now I have gray hair. I'm one of the gray-haired old men of quality now. But I want you to get this idea. It was a lifelong journey. You know, I was a systems engineer that was about improving systems with data. Now I'm a quality engineer. I'm still improving systems with data. That's a little bit about me. What about you? What's your quality journey? Let's go out and improve something this week.